Hi. This instructional video is about solving inequalities, solving multi-step inequalities to be exact. For example, number 1, we have an x on the left side of the inequality and an x on the right side of the inequality. What do? Why don't we combine all the x's so all the x's are always on the left side of the inequality? In this case, we have a negative 3x on the left. We have a positive 2x on the right. And I want to put them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this term with the variable on the right side and move it on to the left by doing the inverse of its positive term. So it says 2x positive, right? Because there's no sign. So I'm going to subtract that. So I'm using a thing called subtraction property of inequality. But whatever I do to one side of the inequality, I must do it to the other. Now there's another way to do this, of course, but I just want to get you to be familiar with the process until you feel comfortable. So on the right side, the 2x and its additive inverse, they cancel, they become 0. And all that remains on the right side of the inequality is just that lonely 9. I'm so lonely. What's happening on the left side? Well, we have a negative 4 or minus 4. And now we have a negative 3x and negative 2x. They're both negatives, so they combine to become a bigger negative, which is negative 5x. Now this looks more like a two-step inequality that we have talked about. So 2 saw 4x. Now we're going to move this minus 4 from where the term x is away. And to do that, we're going to add 4 to both sides of the inequality. So addition property of inequality. So on the left side, minus 4 and plus 4, they are additive inverse. They're opposite, so they become 0. All that remains on the left side is now negative 5x. Is less than 9 plus 4 is 13. And of course, to solve for x, we have to do the inverse of multiply negative 5, which is to divide a negative 5. But remember, anytime you multiply or divide, only when you multiply or divide, D-I-V-I-D-E, a negative. Only when you multiply or divide, not add or subtract, but multiply or divide a negative coefficient, just like what I'm doing here. This is when the direction of the inequality must change. And negative 5 and negative 5, they become 1x or simply x. And I changed it now to become a greater than. And there's no other way to simplify 13 over negative 5. So I'm going to just write that as negative 13 over 5. As ugly as this is, the number that's going to satisfy this inequality is when you choose a number x that's greater than negative 13 over 5. Now, how do I draw this on a number line? Well, it's quite simple. The number we're talking about is negative 13 over 5. Well, there's negative 13 over 5. And does the solution include that number? No, it is not equal to. So it's an open circle. And x is greater than means choose any number greater than negative 13 over 5 on a number line to satisfy this inequality. Yep. Now why don't you try numbers 2 and 3? Okay, now on number 2, before you do anything about combining the x's like I did on number 1, you realize, hey, there's a number outside of parentheses here. Hey, maybe I should multiply that to the all that stuff there. And that's a good thought. If you see a number outside of parentheses, you take that coefficient 2, that number 2, and distribute it to each of the number inside the parentheses. You're going to use a distributive property. So on the right side of the inequality, what you end up with is 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4. And on the left side, we haven't done anything, so here's 4x plus 1. Now, just like on number 1, we have an x term on the left and an x term on the right. So we have to put them together somehow. And in order to get used to this routine, let's just take this guy and put it together or throw it over to the left side. And to do that, we have to take the opposite of that 2x, which is minus 2x, and we're going to subtract that to both sides of the inequality. So that 2x cancels on the right side, leaving you with just 4, plus 4, the constant. And on the left side, we have a 4x minus 2x is simply 2x. 4x minus, I just did that, plus the 1. Now, the 2x tells the 1, you, get out. So, do the opposite, minus 1 to both sides. So the 1 and its additive inverse, negative 1, zeroes out. All that remains is a 2x on the left is less than or equal to 4 minus 1, which is 3. Now, to get rid of the 2, we could either multiply the reciprocal, which is 1 over 2 to both sides, or just simply, in this case, divide that coefficient 2 to both sides of the inequality. So that the 2 and the 2 simplifies on the left side, leaving you with just 1x, or simply x. And look, this time we are not dividing a negative coefficient. Therefore, we do not change the direction of the inequality. And then 3 over 2 is already in a simplified form. It's just 3 over 2. And that's the numeric answer. So, the number that you choose to satisfy this inequality must be less than or equal to 3 over 2. So, equal to means it includes that 3 over 2. So it's a closed circle, and less than, so any number to the left of that on a number line will satisfy that inequality. And finally, number 3. Yeah. Did you say, let's combine the 3x and the 2x together by bringing the 2x to the left side? By doing the opposite? Yes. Okay. So what happens is on the left side, 3x minus 2x is just 1x, or simply x. Minus the 4 is less than or equal to negative 11. This one's too easy? That's good. Now x tells negative 4, you, get out. And to do that, you're going to do the opposite of minus 4, which is plus 4, to both sides of the inequality. So minus 4 and plus 4, they become 0. They're opposite. So x, that remains, is less than, and see, again, we don't change the direction of the inequality. It does not matter what the constant is. It's always when you multiply or divide a negative. We're not doing that. So negative 11 plus 4 is, I believe, negative 7. And so any number that you choose to satisfy this inequality better be negative 7 or less. The number must be less than or equal to negative 7. So the number line you draw better show a negative 7. Negative 7 is equal to or less than. There it is. All right.